Hello there, and welcome to Twice the Speed of Sugar and Twice as Gritted as Salt. Today we're going to be playing Silent Hill 2.
Yes!
Fucking yes!
Yes!
I'm really happy about this, and so is Shadow Wolf. This is your favourite game, isn't it?
One of my favourite games, yes. It pales in comparison to Shadow of the Colossus because, yes, play it.
Shadow of the Colossus. My favourite game, incidentally, is Majora's Mask. But it used to be Wonder Boy and Monster World for Sega Mega Drive. If you have a favourite game, like, comment, subscribe.
If you breathe, like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, representing all my mammals out there. If you drink water and breathe air. Shall we get a move on then?
I guess we should.
Right, do you know anything about this game? Like, with bearing in mind it's
I have played it before. I would suggest normal on both because hard on both, you're not going to survive. And the riddles are really hard and you need to know stuff about Shakespeare.
Okay, and as we're both morons who don't read,
Well,
all we read is creepypasta.
yeah, I mean, you ain't going to get much.
Have you read any good books lately, actually?
I read books. No, I haven't, incidentally.
Alright.
Oh, everything about this game is just... It just starts here, really fucks you up. It's just like on...
The reason I wanted to talk about literature was just that I did read that this game was inspired by one of Dostoevsky's novels, Crime and Punishment.
Oh, right.
And I have not read Crime and Punishment. I read House of the Dead, which has absolutely nothing to do with the game House of the Dead, incidentally, but it's very good.
We're meeting G over there. I fucking love House of the Dead.
Yeah, I know, we've talked about it. We will be playing House of the Dead 2 on the show.
Kill the little sailor boy every time.
Yeah.
I love.
You can't help it, can you?
The music to this game is just
Could you really be in this
creepy
town?
as hell. Akira, I can't remember his last name. Yamaha. I hope I
Yeah,
practiced
we've seen what
pronounced that right.
happened when you. We've seen what happens when you try to speak Japanese, Shadow Wolf. It's
Here
not
we go.
good.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
What's he doing?
That's when you hold square. I think that's when you do the. How do you examine?
Just where you hit your pants up.
Oh no, that's the map. I don't have a map of this area because this area is the toilet. Okay. I love the way you start in a toilet. Really is very creepy.
Yeah, according to the Wikipedia page of this took a lot of influence from David Cronenberg, David Fincher, David Lynch, all the Davids,
All the Davids.
all the
yeah.
famous Davids.
Yeah, even that guy, David. You know,
Yeah.
David down the road. Dave.
Alfred
Dave.
Hitchcock, and apparently it's like Jacob's Ladder. I like Jacob's Ladder. I don't really think it's really sort of like the random moments that seem hallucinated that do feel like Jacob's Ladder. The moments that are like little flashes of incredibly disturbing bits we'll probably be seeing either in this episode or in the next episode.
The game gives me the creeps.
It's really intensely frightening. I think the reason this is actually my favourite of the Silent Hill games.
I think my favourite might have to be Silent Hill 3. I don't know. I do like them both.
The reason this is my favourite is I think it's the one that creeps up on you the most.
Mm.
I think most of them,
What's your coughs?
most of them are a bit loud and just a bit aggressive, and the scares are not very scary. Like I played Downpour recently. Well, I say recently. I played it last year, but that's recent for me because I don't play video games that much. I have a gaming show with you. But I played Silent Hill Downpour, and it just seemed a bit like loud and things screaming in my face.
That was Silent Hill Homecoming, wasn't it?
I think Silent Hill Homecoming had the same problem. And as part of the reason I don't like Dead Space,
Oh yeah.
a lot of people love Dead Space, and more power to you, but I can't stand it. I just...
No, I mean the first one, give it credit.
It was
I
alright.
liked the first
It was
one.
alright, yeah.
And then the second and third one, I played the second one and I didn't really want to play the third one.
I didn't play the third one. I didn't like the second one because it was just within 5 minutes. There was like a guy melting on the screen in front of me. I was like, well, that's not very scary. It's just yuck.
Also, how scared can you be when a game's in co-op?
Yeah, that's another good point.
Yeah, it's just-
Yeah, thanks Capcom, Resident Evil 5. Thanks for fucking up one of my favourite video games. Anyway, we're talking about loads of irrelevant shit when we should be talking about Silent Hill 2, the fucking awesomeness that is Silent Hill 2.
I pretty much know the story anyway. He's come here because he's got a letter from his dead wife and saying that she's going to be at Silent Hill. I don't know why they call it their special place. I don't know why anyone would want to go there, but she's apparently there.
What I really like about the town in this is it's got that Americana. It's like the dark side of Americana.
It's like Dark Side Phil.
You think it's nothing like fucking Dark Side Phil, all right? Because it's cool.
I think there's, if I remember correctly, I think there's something in the boot of my car. Either that or in the trunk.
It kind of reminds me of like Twin Peaks, but like the dark side of Twin Peaks you get, especially in season 2.
Yes, there is. There is a map. Great! And you got a gun? No, you didn't bring a gun with you, did you? Just hoist up my pants and let's go.
Oh man, just look at those trees. Like,
It's just
there's something very
wide camera angles.
There's something very frightening about just the tall trees and you can tell from in the mist, you know, that there's just this really cold wind.
I warn you now.
In this game,
I do explore everything in these games just
yeah,
because I try. And
you and I have similar gaming habits for games like this. When I play Metroid Prime, I scan everything, and when I play Eternal Darkness, I examine everything. I used to with Resident Evil, but now I played the game so often, I know where all the good stuff is. So,
which is good, really.
Yeah, it's useful because it means I'm slightly less obnoxious to watch when I play Resident Evil than I am with those other games I mentioned.
Let's go. Oh man. Oh, I remember with this area especially, if you complete it, this game about 3 times, I think it is, you actually hear a chainsaw, and if you keep walking in the direction with the sound of the chainsaw, you get the chainsaw at the beginning of the game, which is pretty much a massive fuck you.
Is it just like, does it immediately make you like OP?
Yeah, it makes you OP. Yeah, that's it. I'm hearing some very strange noises.
Makes me need to pee because I'm deeply frightened. Have you played Alan Wake on Xbox 360?
I have. I've completed it. I loved it.
It's really good, isn't it? It's because I actually played that first, and I remember thinking when I played this, I was like, wow, Alan Wake really took a lot of inspiration from this game.
Yeah.
And obviously, Alan Wake has a more kind of modern camera style, like the Skyrim style, where you move it with the stick and it kind of moves around the character. But I don't know, I think there's a lot to be said for these old style games with the camera detached from you.
Oh, it's a save point. Oh yeah, I remember the red squares give you save.
Yeah.
I think they just thought, screw it, red squares.
Yeah. Again, there's something very scary and minimal about that. I don't know, this is something really obscure I'm going to mention now, but there was a made-for-TV film in the 70s that I believe only played in Britain. It was called The Stone Tape. Have you ever seen it?
No.
I fucking love it. It basically influenced everything I've done as a writer.
Oh, really?
There's this one part where there's just like minimalist shapes, like and there's lots of reds.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that save screen. It's so scary, and I think there is something very frightening about that kind of minimal dark color.
See, that's how a game's supposed to be done. Just there, I went up to that save point, and it sort of directed me, although it didn't. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's
there's no big arrow.
Things out of place, and then you go explore.
I think a lot of good games kind of teach you how to play them without spoon feeding you. There's a really cool video, actually, I might put a link in the description. You've probably seen it, it's really famous, but there's a video talking about why Mega Man X is so good at teaching you how to play it.
Yeah.
So I'll put a link to that in the description on the off chance you haven't seen it. It's a really famous video. But I love games like that.
I must say, the graphics, especially in these cutscenes here, they do really look quite
Excuse
good.
me.
They've aged pretty well, I think. I mean, and I don't mind that the game has bad sort of pop-up because it's supposed to be foggy.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
lost.
Do you know what I mean? It's the kind of thing you can forgive because it's a stylistic choice.
Yeah, definitely.
And what the genius, I think, aesthetically of this game is that they've taken the hardware limitations
I'm looking for
and they've used it
Is this
to
the
make
right
like an
way?
artistic statement, which I think was very kind of
And it's on the
super
same,
pretentious, bros.
I was about to say, and it's on the same console as my other favourite game, Shadow of the Colossus. Again, play it.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
PlayStation
it's an
2.
art game.
PlayStation 2, I think, was a fantastic console. It was
It-
the juggernaut here in the UK. I remember
It's a juggernaut, bitch.
when it came out. It was the console everybody fucking loved,
Yes.
and with good reason. I think it's still one of my favourite games consoles of all time.
Yes.
It had a great selection of games, like a huge variety.
Oh yeah.
More so than any other console I think that I've got.
Okay, I got
Like
it.
maybe Nintendo Entertainment System. It's probably the only other one with as big a library that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. I mean, N64, they did have quite a lot, but not as many.
Yeah, I would think with cartridges is they're expensive to produce. You know, discs are quite cheap.
Either way, we're going in, bitch. We ain't coming out until we find our wife. My dead wife.
Looking for someone.
How do you explain that to someone? Yeah, I'm just looking for my dead
someone.
Wife.
And that's very much, there's a plot point, again, to bring up Twin Peaks, which I think this does take some inspiration from. There's a plot point in Twin Peaks where somebody's dead, but somebody gets like a video from them with today's newspaper or something like that. And it's really kind of creepy.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Crepe, you might say.
I thought my father and brother were here.
Hmm.
I haven't played Deadly Premonition yet. Everybody says I should play
Oh,
that.
I haven't played that.
I'm sorry.
Is that the game? I
Isn't
can't
that your
remember. Apparently, it's
I
quite
hope you find them.
tough to play,
Yeah,
as in it's
you too.
quite long. I think that's Deadly Premonition, or that might be another game entirely. I'm not sure.
Right. Well, I don't.
But anyway, back
I'm
to
not.
Silent
Yeah,
Hill
I'm not
2.
going to ramble on about Deadly Premonition because I don't know a damn thing about it.
Yeah, I mean,
So what are we doing right now?
we are finding the town. I guess we're going to find a landmark, which is probably, knowing Silent Hill, going to be a apartment complex of some sort, or maybe in here even. Nope, can't get in there. I'm glad, to be honest, because churches never seem to be a good place to go.
Here's a random question. What do you think is the scariest video game you've played?
Scariest video game that I've played. I would say it's definitely one of the Silent Hill games. I mean, potentially Dino Crisis. That game, oh man.
I
All
think.
them dinosaurs, so little
Yeah.
time.
I think actually Dino
Am I going
Crisis
one way?
has a
No,
really. Joking aside, Dino Crisis has a really great atmosphere. I do like Dino Crisis. I think it's quite creepy. I think I really like Fatal Frame. Or
Good game.
also known as Project Zero.
Good game, Fatal Frame.
And
Although, yeah.
I really like, and this is quite an obscure one, I know, but I know you've played it because we played it together. I really like Shadow Man for Sega Dreamcast as well.
Shadow Man's great.
We should play it on the show.
play on show.
Yeah.
Play everything on show.
We should. Every game ever made, all the games.
Silent Hill Ranch.
All the games you've ever wanted to see right here on Super Bit Bros. Like, comment, subscribe.
Silent Hill Ranch, can't access the ranch. Again, I'm thankful because dead animals.
And I guess this is part of the reason I hate those creepypastas so much, is that when you play something like this, you see the effort that goes into just creating...
And how would you describe this? Yeah.
Yeah, the effort that goes into creating this thick, tense atmosphere. And then you look at something like the Sonic.exe fan game, or even something like Slender for PC, and it's just like, oh, it's loud and it's jumping at you and blood. And I'm just fucking, I don't know, it's just lazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, with this, it's more psychological horror.
We probably sound like a couple of bitter old men, but I don't give a shit.
Back in my day, horror games were actually good, not pussyfooting around.
And back in my day, music was good.
I mean, look, 20 seconds I've been playing this game, I still haven't got a knife.
You didn't have any of that Justin Bieber music when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was all Ambassadors of Funk and PJ and Duncan.
PJ and Duncan.
Fucking yeah, I remember that shit.
Oh man.
You're not a real, you're not a, if you're English, you're not a real 90s kid unless you remember PJ and Duncan. I was on a set. I was acting in a student film earlier. You know, the one earlier this month. You know, when I sprained my fucking ankle. And these kids were like children, and they were going on about like the 90s.
These kids were children, were they?
Yeah, and people die when they're killed. They were going on about the 90s, and one of them, like the first movie they ever saw was Titanic. I'm like, be quiet, you infant.
Be quiet.
If you're not old enough to remember seeing fucking Jurassic Park posters everywhere, then shut the fuck up.
Why are we talking about Jurassic Park? We're in Silent Hill.
Because we were talking about Dino Crisis.
Although, I gotta say, the camera angles really make me unnerved. I mean, I can't see what's in front of me.
It
right
really
now.
bums me out how like modern gamers, I think, a lot of the time they want it to be too easy, so they don't like the camera being somewhere disorienting because they can't play the game properly.
Yeah.
Which is a valid point, but at the same time, when the game's trying to work a kind of spell on you, then how's it going to do that without, without? It's got to use all the tools at its disposal. I think the developers and the designers have to use all the tools at their disposal to freak you out. And back then, like I said earlier, they didn't have the technology we have today.
To create.
Yeah, to make something just gory and hideous, because back then most gory stuff just looked silly.
Yeah. See, earlier I had the map up, just having a look around, and it seems like I'll go to this sort of park, but obviously I'm never going to be able to get there in a straight line because all the roads are broken.
Fucking super serious bros, man. Like I've just
the
realised we've made like no jokes in this whole episode.
Because this game is serious.
we like this game so much, we just want to like be reverent.
Yes. Get on with the game.
It's so good.
Get on the floor.
The first episode heavily features walking.
Yes, because you need to get somewhere in life.
But then again, you know, all 3 films of Lord of the Rings feature walking so heavily.
Yeah.
And those are great movies.
They are very long movies as well.
They're very good.
Don't,
If you like Lord of the Rings, like, comment, subscribe.
don't do that again. Oh, man. No one's going to watch these programs, these videos. It's going to be like, that dick. So I'm not going to like, comment, subscribe, anything. Fuck you.
Nobody watches anyway.
Nobody watches anything.
Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's watching our shit. They're all watching PewDiePie. Nobody wants to watch this. That's what we need to do. We've got to put our faces in the corner of the episode and scream.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm out of breath. So, I think I should make a stop to the flower shop to get some of them flowers.
Well, you know what's really amazing? I know where we are, and we're right at the point where the game actually starts to get like creepy and introduce monsters, I think.
I want to buy some stuff.
And it's just time for me to say, next time on Super Brit Bros, the game begins.